Hello everyone and welcome to our channel. If you're new, thanks for joining us. And if you're returning, we really appreciate you coming back. My name is Greg Hartman and this channel is dedicated to supporting, coaching, and giving people useful information as they deal with a loved one's journey through dementia and Alzheimer's disease. And we kicked off our channel last week with the intention of bringing valuable content each week to our subscribers. So I got asked a question last week, and it was, how does one begin to see if a loved one is starting to battle with dementia or Alzheimer's disease? And I want to take you back. Wow, this is 12 years ago, 13 years ago to 2007, 2008. And this is a picture of me and my dad back then. He was physically in great shape, mobile. He was still driving. He was still communicating well. He still knew me as Greg. He still knew me as his son. But, we had noticed he was starting to get a little bit flaky, if you will, like forgetful. And, that happens with aging. And you've got to watch that closely because, as people get on in years, 75, 80 plus, they can begin to lose a little bit of their memory. And you don't want to begin to collapse that or mistake that with any form of dementia or Alzheimer's disease. So I'm going to tell you a story that really highlights the first kind of shocking incident I had where I'm like, wow, there is something wrong with Dad, okay? So in mid-2008, I had pursued a lifelong dream of facilitating a leadership program globally. I had done that for 7.5 years and really reorganized my whole life to fulfill on this dream. So everything in my life was designed around this career choice that I had made. And in mid-2008, I decided to leave that company and stop doing that. And it was really a crossroads in life for me. I was in my late 40s and, I was kind of like dealing with this, wow, what am I going to do next with my life? What am I going to do for the rest of my life? And it was a pretty, I won't say trying time, but it was really one of those moments in life where I was grappling with what's next and what do I do and what's the next expression for me and next fulfillment in my life. And my dad and I have a great relationship and he's always been a sounding board for me. So I went up to St. Augustine. I was living south of St. Augustine at the time to visit him. And I said, hey, Dad, why don't we go to Starbucks and get a cup of coffee? I just left my job, if you will. And I want to kind of talk to you about it and bounce some ideas off you. And, he put his arm around me. He's like, sure, son, come on. So we went up to Starbucks and, we both got our coffees and we were sitting out on the patio. And for about 15, maybe 20 minutes, I poured my heart out to my dad about what I was grappling with and what I was dealing with and all of this stuff. And, I got moved a couple of times. I mean, it was really a tough position I was in at that point. And my dad was nodding his head and listening and sipping on his coffee. And when I got done, I said to him, so Dad, what do you think? And he looked at me and he says, well, I don't know. And then he looks at me again and he says, but tell me, son, how's your job going? And, now in that moment, no history of dementia, nothing about the disease. So literally, I wanted to reach out and strangle him, like punch him in the face. Like, dude, did you not just hear what I've been telling you for 20 minutes, pouring my heart out? I mean, I was so angry and so perplexed. And I looked at him, I said, Dad, did you not hear a word I just said for the last 20 minutes? And he was like, oh yeah, I did. I go, well, what do you think? And he's like, about what? And so he had a partner at the time, Betty Lou, and I went home and I said, hey, Betty Lou, something's off with Dad. I just told him this big, long story, and it's like I didn't even say anything to him. So that was our first clue. So often when it's severe dementia or Alzheimer's, there'll be really weird occurrences like that. They'll show up, and those are early indicators, because my dad at that point was still fully functional, still driving, still knew who I was, still communicating, but that was like a red flag, so you want to really look for things like that. And then, I advise, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical professional, go to your family practitioner, your doctor, and share these things and start to let them know, because there are medications that, like Aricept and things, you can get people on that, while they don't eliminate the disease, they can actually slow the progression. Because my dad, from then till he passed, was almost 13 years. And then, I'll share more how as it went, it progressed worse. And finally we realized, he couldn't drive anymore. We had to take his car away. But I wanted to share that insight into a very early moment, because those of you that have aging parents like I did, both my parents are deceased now, you can begin to notice for those little indicators or signs. And at least for me, the way it first showed up is I was angry. Like, did my dad just not listen to a word I said? Like, what is wrong with this man? So if you find yourself in those kind of moments, and I'm going to talk about more as we go on in the channel, as I cared for him, how frustrating it can be at times, and you need to keep creating context for yourself that, as I learned later, this is not the person I knew as my dad. Yeah, he still looks the same and he's still in the same body, but whoever I knew my dad to be up to that point, like, that person is gone. And if you can't create something like that for yourself, you're just going to frustrate yourself. You're going to deal with a lot of anguish and anger and frustration, because in your mind, you keep wanting that person to be the old person they were, and they're not anymore. Like, nobody is home. That person has checked out. So I hope this begins to create a little space for you. I hope you're enjoying the content. Obviously, we're just getting started. So if you're new to the channel, down there is a subscribe button. Please subscribe, hit the bell notification so that you will get updates as we post new videos, my partner Sid and I. And then please like this video if you enjoyed it. Thank you, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.